at half of the wage. Receipts from the farmer and 30% of the wage receipts from the laborer were stolen, so that wealth began to accumulate, and the farmer and laborer had nothing left. Those who were weak or could not earn or were sick or their journey was dependent on nature, they were deprived of their lands, they were deprived of their properties, they became orphans even though they were born on earth. Robbed from the farmer, robbed from the worker, robbed from the hunter, the weak, the poor, the sick, the rich have heaps of wealth. He had a belly, but there was no limit to the accumulation of wealth. The question is that now, after constant looting, the lands are barren, there is no employment in the factories, because the people have run out of money. Capitalists' products are not being sold because people don't have money, so they don't have purchasing power, because they don't get wages. On top of that, the land was also taken away, so they were forced to get 50 against the labor of 500 rupees for the work of the capitalist. Either starve or have a socialist revolution where everyone gets full wages. Whoever makes something, his product will not be sold, so he will lose money. That's why he doesn't invest more. That is why things are made only for the rich, and only the rich can afford them. But think that if the formula of a proprietary society is to earn profit, then a rich man can rob all the people and become the owner of all the wealth. What to do now? Think, struggle, solve this problem. I am with you. Where is the mistake? Owning the property on the land, because we all living beings or the property of the land is not our property. So removing private property from the land. He should also get his wages, the farmer should pay his full share, the laborer should give his full share. Number 3 is that we learned from experience that the land is becoming fertile day by day. Every new year the same land produces more crops. Every new day there is an innovation in technology and the production increases, but it seems to be locked in the pockets of the rich, which do not benefit public, not even equals to the meal they eat. To work and made, so the food should be made free from the increased production so that no human or animal is hungry, dead, and the wealth held by the rich is the result of the blood and sweat of the laborers. So this accumulated wealth should be returned to the people in the form of free food. Centers to every union or village, the home and education. What the new revolution will do, is bring the hunters to modern agriculture through free land, make the peasants environmental friendly, and genetic engineers, and present factory workers into nature and universe explorers with environmental doctors. Both worker and capitalists would be converted into environmental engineering and artificial intelligence production system, make the farmers eco-friendly engineers, or eco-friendly officials, and the workers eco-friendly engineers and doctors will make planet A labor-made heaven, own gardens and farmhouses. But the entire patriarchal society will return to the south, but in the meantime, the old maternal society that reached the south will become the majority and establish a communist revolution, and the world will be dominated by the majority of women and wisdom. The patriarchal society from the north will return to a socialist society where property system will be over, the laborer will get his full wages and land and house plots, and nurseries will be free for the poor. Then the communist society will act from the south, which will break the constant imprisonment of women and gain freedom. Because of the degree of maternal compassion, she will fight the anti-life society. Men will hand over environment-friendly engines from the north to women. Women will send agriculture from the south to the north. The powerful elements of the previous society understood that they are the only ones entitled to social wealth. Just like the pharaoh used to bring gold, honey and slaves with him, so that the wealth would remain their property, and even after death, they would be the owners of the wealth. In this way, many kings, prophets and devils used to think that they are special people sent by God, and other people are inferior to them or their slaves, such as bonded labor in which the feudal lords bind the peasants with chains and make them slaves to do the farming. When they fled, the pharaohs built tombs and palaces out of slaves and peasants for no particular reason, so that their power would be known. Feudalists also explained that the land is only his natural property, no matter how hard the farmer works and no matter how less the feudal works, the land is his personal property. He is a special ruler chosen by Allah. In his eyes, the importance of the people is not important. Expelling anyone from the nation or tribe, regarding anything they say is halal or haram, giving a woman a lower status than a man, giving her a lesser share in property, the testimony of 3 women is equal to 1 man, performing circumcision of a man. Circumcision, marriage or motherhood, should be performed only by the magician, religious traders. In India, the religion is that the hard-working tribe and its children should be kept under human control forever. The second one is made. But the words of Adam Smith, the leader of capitalism, are that the less you pay the poor, the more he will work. American corporations and most of the rulers of the world are still saying that socialism means the hard-working peasants and the poor. Government is an illusion, capitalism is the eternal reality. They were true in their own time and true to the people, but only the universe is eternal. Everything else is progress and decay. Think about the condition of the workers in Karachi. The owner of the mobile phone factory announces that he will make a profit of 5,000 rupees for making a mobile phone, but it will hire the worker who works for a minimum wage. They came and saw that the land, factories and jobs were taken away from the people. Money was taken away from the people. A poor worker says, "I'm hungry. I need more." That is why those who are very poor and hungry will work for low wages. A worker is ready to work for 50, another for 40. Now, a worker worked for 40 but he ate a meal for 100. And does work of 5,040 will be called a philanthropic society. A farmer will only plant a grain that only the rich can afford because it will give the poor farmer some extra credit, but what will happen to the other poor and farmers who cannot afford the expensive grain? It is important for both the farmers and the workers to understand that they either lose their lives or rebel one day and get their rights. For labor has only chains to lose and the whole world to gain. There is a problem in the way of voting. 1. Candidate buys voters by spending a lot of money in the election. One hopeful stands in the election based on the aspirations of the people. By force to the candidate, by bribing the police, by making false accusations, the people-friendly candidate is removed from the election. They file false cases or kill him. Meanwhile, the popular candidate has hope of 70% of the votes, but the popular candidate was killed before the election, or he did not have money to stand in the election, or he was arrested in a false case. 70% of people did not vote. Is it fair? Most of the people do not vote in the election. Those who do are flatterers of the rich, or forced by pressure, fear. Some are tempted to vote. If they are honest with the rich people, there should be also put a box in the vote receipt that the voter does not vote for this candidate and votes for this candidate. Means denial and acceptance. Both boxes should be included in the ballot paper. The second condition is that at least 2 out of 3 people must vote in the election, then it will be clear who won and who lost. He raised his hand and during the election, 30% votes were in Support of him and 70% of votes were in opposition. Denial to imperial candidate, so the matter will be clear. The people will also be interested in the election. Votes should be conducted again. Or again, since the votes of approval and rejection are equal, re-voting should be done. Another problem. If a ruler wins the election by making promises to the people, then turns away from the promises, takes his hand and for the whole 5 years, only collects wealth by treating people's enmity, sucks the blood of the people, how to get rid of it? The solution is that the people have the power to depose the ruler at any time. For example, there should be vote boxes or electronic vote boxes in every region, on which the people can vote with their thumbs to see if a certain candidate is retained or if he is expelled within a year. If not, he should be removed from the chair. 5 problems facing the human world today. Man's salvation is conditional on solving them. 1. Pay less about labor. 2. Looting profits. 3. Interest. 4. Operating personal property on rent. 5. There is no majority requirement in the democratic process. Election, and every individual do not have the right to deny or accept any politician in vote paper. Their solution. 1. To give the full wages of the one who has worked, i.e. to divide the entire production in labor according to the time. 4. Example. If the farmer of the village has harvested 5 tons of wheat, should be hand over all the wheat to the farmer, not giving any share to the landlord, whatever the worker in the city has made a product in the factory, he should receive all his wages in the factory for the time he has worked. Divide equally accordingly. 2. The shopkeeper or merchant should sell the item for the same amount, i.e. do not take profit from the public. Instead of profit, the government should provide free home education and food to every citizen from the tax taken from the people, and every person related to the service sector. Capitalists and shopkeepers should get these things from there. 3. Abolition of interest. 4. Not running personal property on rent means not earning money from interest or rent. 5. Including the right of refusal and the box of yes in the vote paper for all electors, only the one who gets at least 50% of the 100 votes of yes of approval, and a maximum of 25% of the refusal votes, should be declared the winner in the election. People gather together and listen to each other. The strength of the poor is in their listening. Until now, we have assumed that money is equal to the product made by the laborer. Money is equal to labor. Labor is equal to things, while the great martyr Karl Marx proved it a long time ago, that labor is done by the people. A hard worker makes things if he gets a wage. A piece of wood will break soon, but no one can break a rich man full of wood. The people form their own organizations together, create organizations based on experience or participate in pre-formed organizations, support everything that supports the people to get the rights of the peasants and the poor. A wise man said that if you want to serve humanity and want to be doctor, or lawyer or engineer, you serve very little, and such would be fail if public have no food, home and education. But if you became a revolutionary, then you may serve humanity with true meaning that can save humanity from dying. It is wrong for a laborer to keep pushing his children to earn, when he knows that from every job, whether it is trade or farm or factory work, the rich will rob him and the child of the poor will be robbed. He will force his child to work. If you are the parents of your children, teach them about the revolution. According to a survey, if a laborer earns 100 rupees profit through his labor, the rich steals 116 rupees from him. About 82% of the world's wealth is locked in the pockets of the rich. while the rest of the world is running on only 20% of the wealth. If wealth does not circulate,